Why don't we go over here? Paul, come over here. Sure. So this is the system that we're talking about, right? So New York WaterMaker is, would you call it a filtration system? Is it a water enhancer? What would you call it?
So the New York WaterMaker is by far the most superior water filtration system on the market today. However, our patent is a water source replication system. So we can replicate any water in the world. So this takes it through a patented 6-step process that filters the water, descales it, disinfects it, and softens it. But the real magic is the fact that it replicates the New York City water molecule, so it has the exact characteristics of New York, which, if you do some homework, has the perfect characteristics for making great bread, crust, pizza, and bagels, just based on the composition of water of New York itself. So that's what this machine does.
And so Leo, I want to add one thing to it. I'm actually currently getting in another machine, and I'm actually getting water characteristics from San Francisco to bring to Point Pleasant Beach to make San Francisco south.
That's huge. So that's another really good point. So what we're talking about here, in the scheme of water throughout the United States, we've got traditionally 3 places in the U.S. that are known as having the best water. We got New York, Chicago, and San Francisco. Okay. So what happens for everybody else in the United States? Well, inside the system, and Paul can talk a little bit more about this. Inside the system, what they're going to do is when you set up an appointment with these guys and have them talk about the water, they don't just come out and say, yeah, we're going to hook this thing up and let's go. They're going to actually take a water sample from your location, no matter where you're at in the United States, and they're going to figure out what the chemical makeup of that water is. So that this way, when they find out how much impurity, let's say, is inside of that water that you have, the things we're concerned about as bakers are things like lead, iron, sulfur, all those minerals, okay? Joe was talking about making artisan bread. The reason it's important is because the more of that stuff is inside the water, the more it compresses the dough. It's heavy, all right? Even though you can't see it, it's in there. And the final structure of the dough actually suffers a little bit because of all those minerals. With a system like this, being able to actually take all that water out. Tell them about the purple light. What is it?
There's a UV light. So what happens is this produces some of the safest, cleanest water in the world, because as the water is entering, we're hitting it with ozone and an ultraviolet light, killing any and all bacteria that enters the system. Water is supposed to be clean and bacteria-free, from the municipality, but we know from the news it's not always the case. So the New York WaterMaker produces super clean, healthy, bacteria-free water, so in your food you're serving great water to all your customers as well.
I want to do one other thing. Joe, I'd love for you to do that little demonstration where you show the dough that you made. One with the regular water and then the other one with the filter. Why don't we go over here to the table? This is the famous Gary Lane over here is doing a little demonstration himself. But Joe, why don't you go ahead and talk about the dough itself and the difference?
As you can see, yesterday we made this dough. What I did was, in my bakery, I have the WaterMaker. So it's Point Pleasant Beach, New Jersey water, right? Going into the WaterMaker and making Bronx water. The reason why I picked the Bronx water, it's the first feed coming into Manhattan from the aqueduct from upstate New York, from the Catskills. As you can see, I don't know if you can see it on the screen here. You can see all the composition of the water here, and take a look at the difference here. One of the big differences I love is the hardness. Look at the difference in the hardness. Okay, it is amazing to see from. I get into the dough. I get into the development. How it's pulling off the mixer. How it's pulling off the paddle. What's going on? How it's gonna. How the experience of the fermentation of the product for the next day. We mixed this on Tuesday at 12 noon. I have 2 spiral mixers right next to each other, so it was the same exact time, same exact amount of water, flour, salt, sugar, yeast, and oil. Basic, but 60% hydration, which is kind of the average, I would say, in pizza dough, correct? Right. About 60%.
Depends what you're making, but 60% is kind of like the
average. So I took it that way, all right? So now I developed this dough. It's softer. You can see the gluten work in itself.
It looks like Gary might have disturbed us.
But this here, this is how
dense it is, right?
And the thing is, and tell me if I'm wrong or not. I mean, I know in bread, when you're making bread, the least amount of handling time that you have, the better and nice and airy the inside is, and the crust develops.
Right. Absolutely.
The more hands in it, and the more air going inside of the dough, it puts more air bubbles. Now,
More stress.
I was always told that if you're working the dough too much, then that happens is when you put it in the oven, it kind of lifts those air bubbles, and that's not what you want. Is
Right,
that correct?
and I think that, you know, to your point here in the picture, okay, Joe's got a famous bakery here in New Jersey. He made a couple of different doughs. Okay, he made some bread, and in this picture, what they're showing, it's not about this beautiful bread, all right? But what they're showing is the structure of the bread itself. The one that he did with the regular water right out of the tap, you can see, even though that he had that same kind of lift and spring, he's got the volume of the dough. Look at the crumb itself. The structure is tighter compared to the one that he did with the purified water, where again, you don't have all those minerals, you don't have all that hardness, and you can see how much more the dough opened up, all right? And that's
And
really...
it's the same fermentation time.
Same exact
These two are
everything,
same
absolutely.
fermentation times, same mixers, same oven, same environment, same humidity, same everything. It's just a different. And you know, if you just look at it very basically, 60% of the dough is water. It's an ingredient. I think sometimes being at this show and stuff, people start forgetting the fact that this is an ingredient. It's an ingredient. And you know, we got people that say, oh, well, it means the pizza maker. Yeah, sure, you're a good pizza maker, and you have better ovens out there, and better mixers, and better environment.
And we always
But
talk about sourcing
you
the best
have a
ingredients,
chance to put another great ingredient. Like there's so many ingredients being featured here at the show. You got good flour, you got good salt, you got good yeast, you got good sugar, you got good tomatoes, you got good cheese, you got good toppings.
Yeah, the water's
The water, and it's a fixed item. It's a fixed item in your business.
So right now, we actually are in the middle of this process of installing the New York WaterMaker system into my dough room. Anybody who's ever watched any of my feeds or my videos and has seen any of the stuff that we're doing at the North American Pizza and Culinary Academy will know that I've got a state-of-the-art dough room. I've got 4 different types of mixers. I've got water controls that, you know, I can deposit water based on volume and by temperature. So again, we really recreated in that dough room what a commercial production bakery would have available to them. And again, it was a lot more to us to say that, look, we're not just looking for a basic reverse osmosis system to put inside the dough room. We wanted something that had a lot more to offer. And you know, the great thing about us is that the school in Chicago isn't our first school. We have plans to open up a lot more throughout the United States. So when I'm making doughs in Chicago, and now people come to the school and they learn how to make a formula with the doughs in my dough room. And let's say we want to move to the West Coast, or you know, we want to move into the the middle of wherever we might be dealing with, outside of those areas where we called out having the best water. Now, New York WaterMaker system can actually recreate that same water that I have in Chicago or in New York. And again, if you have a pizzeria chain and you got 20 restaurants, 100 restaurants, whatever it is, how nice would it be able to be to have the same exact water throughout your entire chain that you had in the flagship #1 store? So again, I mean, this is really a testament. Paul, come on, you're out of the shot of it. This is really a testament to what Paul has done here and his passion for actually, you know, water and offering that really great, water to everybody to use commercially. And again, I think this is why he's going to be so successful with his product.
Leo, and I love the fact that you call it a system. Sometimes the people coming up and checking it out, they're saying, oh, New York water, that's all you make. You can make anything. I mean, you know, we tap into the market of a Neapolitan pizza. If you're a pizzaiolo that really wants Neapolitan water, bring a sample of water from Naples and recreate it.
That's huge. That's a really
it's a system. It's not just about making New York water.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Paul. I don't think anybody doing that right now. You might be the first innovator of this product like this.
Me, actually.
Product, yeah, but Joe has been copying other waters from around the country. But yeah,
this is the system itself.
I would love to see a Chicago pizzeria open in Manhattan using Chicago water through the.
As a Chicago guy, I'm going to tell you right now, it would never work. Nobody in New York wants to. No, nobody in New York wants to eat a Chicago pizza.
Will the water work?
The water will work. But they ain't gonna eat that pizza. We're gonna be out of business.
Just think about that. How many people you go all over the country and everything is New York pizza, New York pizza, New York pizza, New York pizza.
Absolutely.
Why?
That's right.
Because of the water. What's different? We got the technology, the trucking, the freight, everything. We're all using the same flour, tomatoes, cheese, salt, yeast. We don't all use the same water.
So, on behalf of New York WaterMakers, the North American Pizza Culinary Academy, my friend Joe, I want to sign off right now. Thank you everybody for watching in. If you have any questions, hey Paul, what's the website and how can they get a hold of you guys?
Just go to www.newyorkwatermaker.com, and there's all kinds of social media sites, but that's the site. You can watch videos on how the system works and all of the details, and we really appreciate it.
All right, everybody. Thank you very much for watching.
Take care.